So does it bother you when people just leave a mess and don't clean up after themselves? Well, today we're going to talk about helping you overcome that pet peeve of people leaving a mess. Well, we're doing a series on how to overcome or deal with pet peeves that you have. So I've asked a lot of people about what some of their pet peeves are, or what are some of the things that really annoy or irritate them, with the goal being of using the principles that we talk about and teach at Principle-Based Living and our YouTube channel to help people overcome or deal with those pet peeves. Now, when you watch this, what I'm going to share with you, you may end up being a little bit disappointed because it may not be what you hope that it would be. But it's going to be the truth and it's going to be reality. And what we're talking about is going to empower you to help you have control over your own life. I think that's what we want. And if you look at your life, how do you feel like when you're out of control, or what do you feel like when you're out of control? In fact, most of us have a need or a desire to be in control of our life. And when we feel like things are out of control, we spend time and energy trying to get control. The problem is oftentimes we try to control things that we have no control over. And we have this belief that if we could control other people, or if we could control circumstances or situations, then our life would be better and that we would feel happy, or we would feel more secure. But the truth is, we don't have control over any of those things. One of the foundational principles that we have on Principle-Based Living is that principle of control. Now remember, a principle is a law. It's something that operates in the world in which we live, and it doesn't matter whether you know about it, doesn't matter whether you agree with it or understand it. It still operates all of the time. It's like the law of gravity. You know, whether you know about it or not, it's still operating. And if I don't understand it or know about it and I step off a cliff, I'm going to fall. And principles or laws are self-evidently true. So think about the principle of control. What can you control? Can you control another person? Can you make another person be angry or sad or mad? First thought, you may think, well, yeah, I can make somebody mad, or they can make me mad. But if you think at it at a little deeper level, you'll realize that no, you can't. All you can do is influence them. But ultimately, for a person to become angry, then that person has to choose to be angry. So I may finally get to a point where you've done enough of whatever it is to where I finally said, enough, now I'm going to be angry. But it's a choice, so I am in control of that. So the principle of control says that there are only three things that we have control over, and that's our conscious thoughts. So we don't even have control over all of our thoughts, because we have random thoughts that pop into our head all of the time, and we don't control those. But we can control which ones we give attention to, or which ones that we continue to focus on. So we can control our conscious thoughts. We can control our emotions, and that's because our emotions come from our thoughts. So if we can control our thoughts, then we can control our emotions, and we can control our behaviors. And that's it. Everything else is influence. Well, there's another part of this too. So when there are things that irritate us or annoy us, we can also realize that that is a choice. And we can begin to ask ourselves, well, why does that irritate me or annoy me? What's the reason that I want to be irritated or annoyed? So what is the payoff or the outcome of when I get to be irritated or annoyed? And think about that. I mean, if you're a person that gets angry often, well, what's the result or outcome of you being angry? What happens in your life when you get angry? You know, do people do what you want them to do? Do people leave you alone? You can figure that out by just looking and saying, okay, yeah, I find myself getting angry all of the time. Well, what happens and what do I do when I'm angry? What happens when I'm irritated? I have to get irritated before I'm willing to do anything to take action. So I'm a pretty passive person. I don't do anything about it until it rises to the level of, okay, now I'm irritated, now I'm annoyed, now I'm going to do something. And then when I do it, then maybe that gives me the outcome that I want. But then here would be the question, would there be another way that I could get that outcome without having first to become irritated or annoyed? And the answer is probably yes. But maybe I just don't want to do that work. You know, we have this tendency to believe or to want life to just be easy and for everything that we want to just be given to us. But life was not designed to be that way. If it was meant to be that way, then I'm sure that God would have created it that way for us. But then what would have been the purpose of being here? So I believe the purpose of this life is for us to learn and to grow and to become the best that we can be, the most that we can be. And in order to do that, we have to put forth effort and we have to do some work. And if we want something to change, then we need to change. So we're talking about the pet peeve of people leaving stuff a mess, not cleaning up after themselves. So the first question to ask yourself, if that's one of your pet peeves, is, why does that bother me? Does it have to bother me? Well, the truth to that question is no, it doesn't have to bother me. But I may have a belief because I've been raised or conditioned to believe that if you make a mess, you clean up after yourself. That's the respectful thing to do or the considerate thing to do. So I have a belief then that if somebody doesn't clean up after themselves, that they're not considerate, they're not respectful. Well, maybe that person just has not ever learned that. Maybe they've been brought up in a different way and they don't really notice it. Or maybe it's somebody that's just lazy and they don't want to clean up after themselves and they have a belief that it's okay for them to leave the mess because somebody else will come up after them and clean it up. And if you're one of those people that can't stand to have a messy home or messy things, then you're probably one of those people that will come after them and clean it up. And they're happy because they didn't have to clean it up, but now you're angry or irritated or annoyed because in your mind, you did something that you didn't want to do. You had to clean up somebody else's mess. But the truth is, did you have to clean it up? No. I mean, that's a choice. It's a choice that you made. And I don't know what would happen if you didn't clean it up. Maybe somebody else would come after you and they would clean it up. But here's the thing, even if you are a person that you don't like things being a mess, you don't like things laying around, not put back where they go, if you just accept and recognize that, you know, this is just a belief that you have, and this is a person that you have chosen to be like, then just accept that. So one of the other foundational principles is the principle of accountability. That principle says that I'm accountable for my life and everything in my life. If I'm unhappy, well, then I'm accountable for that because of the choice that I have made. If I am angry or unhappy or irritated, I can just take accountability and say, well, I'm choosing to feel the way that I'm choosing. That gets me out of that victim mode of blaming somebody else. And I can just say, well, I'm angry because I want to be angry. I'm angry because other people don't do what I think that they should do. But I don't have any control over that. So I'm going to just be angry about it. And then if you take accountability, then you can be angry as long as you want to be angry. And then when you're done being angry, you can say, okay, I'm done. I don't want to be angry anymore. So now I want to feel happy. And if I want to feel happy, I could say, well, you know what? I'm really happy because I just cleaned up that mess and it looks really good right now. And I feel good about what I did. Same circumstance, same behavior, same situation. In one situation, I'm angry and upset because I did something I didn't want to do or I don't think that I should have had to do, which again, that's a false belief. I didn't have to do it. I chose to do it. The other would be, okay, somebody made a mess. I don't like messes. I feel better. I feel happier when messes are cleaned up. So I'm going to choose to clean it up and then be happy. And be happy with the beliefs that you have and how that influences your behavior. That puts you in control of your life. And again, that's what this channel is all about. It's about empowering you to be in control of your life and to be able to live a life of happiness. and to have healthy relationships and to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve in your life. But until you take accountability and responsibility, all of those things are going to be outside of your control. And the other thing that happens is there's this domino effect. If I'm allowing other people to irritate me or annoy me, and I'm going around being angry all of the time and complaining about what other people are doing or not doing, guess what? I'm going to attract more of that into my life. And when you look at your life and you're unhappy because nothing ever seems to go your way, and you look at other people and you think, man, they have an amazing life. Truth is, maybe you're creating that. So maybe if I let go of that anger and I choose to be happy and I focus on what's working and what's right and what I like, maybe that I attract more of that into my life. So I encourage you to take control of your life, be accountable, focus on the things that you can control, recognize that you have a choice in any circumstance or situation about what you want to think, what you want to feel, and what you want to do, and let go of the blame and just choose to be responsible for yourself and choose to be happy. You can visit our website at Principle Based Living if you want to know more about who we are and what we do. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, make sure you follow me here.